video, we're going to look at adding your data to the builder. In the builder, we are looking at this particular section here at the top, where it has the data in green. What we're going to be doing here is actually populating this field with information and displaying it here in a formatted view. So every time I release a video, I'm going to be showing you what's changed from the prior one. So just a quick rundown, what we're going to do here is I've added a sample data table called contacts. I've updated the relationship graph. We've added a layout called contacts. I've added a custom function that I needed to be able to perform something I wanted to show you. And then I've added a script called contacts collect the data. So we're going to hop over into the demo file. We're in the demo file 1.3, adding your data. Let's go back to quick start. The last time we had the file, we had the example of we renamed the report and then we created a new report, and we're at this point of adding our data. But before we get to that, I do want to show you the changes I made as indicated in the presentation slide. If we go into our managed database, you will see that I have created a new contacts table. I have added that contacts table to the relationship graph. If we look at view managed database, view showing this toolbar, we can navigate that there's a layout for contacts right here with 500 records. And if we go into the script workspace, we will also see that I have added a new script into the new to demo file here. All right. Now let's go back to the build and we will remove our status toolbar and get back to the settings. So what we're going to do is learn from our last lesson, and we're going to take video 1.2 and duplicate this to be able to use it for this current video. So to remember, what we do is go into the settings, we go into the actions, and we're going to just duplicate this entire record. So by doing that, we get a copy of it, and I'm going to simply rename this file to 1.3. And everything else can stay the same because we are now working on context. But let me show you something. I'm going to clear this out. And now, because I talked to you before and said that on this system startup script, that it reads all the tables that are in the database, context is now something for me to choose. So I am going to just do that to show you guys that's how this works. All right, we don't need to lock the report yet because we haven't finished it, but all we have to do is to get back is to submit and close our window. Okay. So now our instructions on the preview are telling us to add data. So how do we do that? First of all, let's go to the data tab. And you see anything here, there is nothing in the system. So we can't build our report until we have data. So what I wanted to show you is I added the contacts information there, and I've added a script to be able to help us populate this. So let's go take a look at the contacts script that I added. So what we're going to do here is basically go to the layout of contacts that I found and perform a find. And I limited this one just to get a smaller subset than the 500. So we're looking for any contact with the city that starts with an A. And we're going to perform a loop script here that basically says, hey, construct the found set as a JSON blob and set it here and tell me what it is. And then we're going to paste it into the builder. So you can kind of look at this a little bit to see how I constructed it. But mainly I'm using two custom functions here to get my found set. And then I'm constructing it into a valid JSON array. And then down here, I'm going back to the builder and I am actually copying it to the clipboard and allowing you to paste that information. So why don't we go ahead and run this through the debugger so you can see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and get to the debugger. We are now heading to the context layout with there's 500 records in here. And we are simply performing our find. And it's telling us that we have 40 records in our found set. And what we're going to do now is construct the JSON. So here we go. If we look at the data viewer, we have a JSON, valid JSON that was constructed from the found set using a calculated field that I've already created for you. And we can take a peek at that in a minute. But now what we're going to do is go back to the builder. We are performing a script that basically sets the values to the clipboard for you. and it will tell you that we're on the clipboard. And let's just finish that out. And now in the data, we can simply hit paste. And when I get out of the cell, tab out or enter out, this now will be, if it's proper JSON, it will be formatted over here so you can read it. All right, here we go. We are looking at context.lastname, all of this information. Now I see a problem with this just because I know how I constructed it. So let's go take a look at my JSON constructor function and see if we can get this updated. What I don't want to see here is all this extra table information for context ... So let's go quick correct that. In my contacts, I have a table record here that is basically setting a JSON payload for the record. But I can see here that I have an issue because on contacts, I'm substituting it, but I'm improperly substituting it with uppercase. If I change this here to contacts and save this, I want to see that this context that goes away. It's unnecessary. So what I'm going to do right now is just clear the data. I got out of it, and I'm just going to run that script again over here. And it's going to tell me my data is here. And now watch when I paste, I got rid of all the table occurrence information here. So this is a much cleaner way to have your data. All right, I can see that I have 40 records in my found set. And if this doesn't have any errors, we know that my data is properly formatted. So let's go see if we can see what the report looks like. All right, it's still telling us we have to identify the columns. That's what we're going to do in the next video. So stick with me. We'll come back and we're going to be introducing how to get our very first report. Remember, we're only one step away. We created a report. We just added our data. Now we have to say what the columns are, and then we can preview it.